Welcome and thank you for joining us today. We have about 30 minutes here together, so let's get started. A quick note from our friends in legal. We're going to talk about a lot of really cool things today, but please make sure that you make your purchasing decisions based on currently available software. So we can dig in. My name is Anna Toon. I'm a product marketing manager here at Procore, focusing on public sector owners like yourselves. The majority of my experience has been working with organizations that help our communities and families thrive. I have about 6 years of experience in the SaaS technology space, primarily working with membership associations that I'm sure many of you are a part of, nonprofit organizations, including healthcare facilities, as well as both public and academic libraries of all sizes all over the world. While we're joined here today by California's largest high school district, we have public sector customers across all segments, from the federal government to local municipalities, energy and utilities, healthcare, education, of course. We are committed to serving the public sector and honored that we have the opportunity to work with organizations like yours. So with that, why are we here today? We're here to learn how Kern High School District utilized Procore to finish a large-scale modernization effort 2 months ahead of schedule and $2.5 million under budget. Joining us today to talk about this project is Robert Pugh. Robert, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course, thanks, Anna. My name is Robert Pugh. I'm a facilities planner with the Kern High School District. I spent 18 years as a design professional specializing in institutional facilities, primarily designing and building public schools throughout California's Central Valley. After being recruited by my biggest client in 2014, I made the career change to the public sector. Shortly after coming to the school district in an effort to manage risk and the public agency's exposure, I was tasked with solving the issues of the school district's construction software platform, in addition to managing multi-million-dollar capital improvement projects.
Great, thank you, Robert. And I want to provide just a little bit more background on Kern High School District and the sheer size and volume. They have 18 comprehensive high schools serving 40,000 students. They also have 5 continuation schools, 1 adult school, 1 regional occupation center, and numerous special education sites. As you can imagine, with the size of their district, they have numerous construction projects in place simultaneously all the time. In fact, right now they have 6 large projects underway with numerous smaller projects throughout the district. And so what led them to Procore? Well, in 2017, Kern decided to move off Oracle Primavera. Because they have various teams involved throughout all phases of a project, seamless information sharing was critical for them. They knew they needed a solution to track all of their construction projects in one place. And with that centralized location, they needed the information to be available to all stakeholders, internal and external, whether it's a CM or a contractor, architect, or engineer. Everyone needed to be able to go to the same place. They also knew that they needed a system that would have an immediate impact on their processes, create real efficiencies quickly, and be simple and intuitive enough to fit into their existing flow. And this is ultimately why Kern chose Procore, because it offered that interconnected, consolidated platform that would give them the consistency and standardization and that accountability that is so important in the public sector. We hear from our clients all the time how critical it is to demonstrate responsible stewardship and transparency in meeting the needs of students, faculty, taxpayers, and the community. And Procore really helps them do just that. This was especially critical as it related to Kern's 50-year modernization effort. So with that, Robert, can you tell us a little bit about your project and how you utilized Procore?
Thanks, Anna. Absolutely. So in California, our facilities program is based on a rotation of 25 and 50 years. We had successfully passed a bond measure, and this project had sat in the drawer for a while before we put it out to bid in 2018. So this was really the first major job that we did with Procore. With this modernization effort, we were tasked with building 3 new buildings, as well as several additions to existing buildings. The project included 5 different sets of plans and specs, or 5 different Division of the State Architect applications that we constructed as one project. We used a CM delivery method and had 28 prime contractors. We constructed over 11,000 square feet of new construction, modernized 58 classrooms on a 48-acre site. We installed 22 modular classrooms utilized for interim housing, and we had 26 months. As we got started, we were effectively considering Procore as our central nervous system, and our goal was to leverage the system to standardize our process, to get complete real-time visibility into the health of our project, and control our financials to avoid inefficiencies and cost overruns. To address the first challenge, we prioritized owning our own data from start to finish. We knew we wanted complete holistic view of the project for critical oversight and governance, and the ability to compare projects over time and make adjustments. We also needed the ability to pinpoint problems in real time so we could quickly address the issues that may affect our budget and schedule. As the owner, we're left with a shell. A lot of our consultants are not always versed in thinking about complete start to finish after move-in. For example, there may need to be a computer sitting right there that is tied to a projector that needs to project to a screen. We need to have Trojan iconography up like you see here in the cafeteria. When our staff and students show up to school, everything needs to be ready to go. I think that's also where the platform comes into play. Being able to share the design documents early, seamlessly collaborate with our vendors and suppliers, and provide those mock-ups to the end user so we can forecast down the road. It's always a challenge to try and fix or add items once it's actually built out, whether you have contingency or not. Owning our data from start to finish was so important that we worked with our legal to add language to the contract mandating that prime contractors use our instance of the software. For the district, controlling our destiny is about documentation and claims avoidance. We're well aware that over 30% of all construction projects end in a dispute. This is why when issues arise, we need to be able to produce the documentation and the contracts that bear on the disagreement. We also wanted to ensure we'd have instant real-time access to project information. While all our stakeholders may not necessarily access the system, they have access to it, which provides that level of transparency that we need. In addition to that, we're able to easily go back and search for the information, and it's all right there centralized. For example, we track submittals and RFIs quite closely because we need to understand how that may translate into additional expenses or change orders, things of that nature. All that to say, we're also keenly aware that you can only have complete data if you give your contractors a system they're willing to use. This wasn't possible with Oracle because we were charged for each user. So the ability to have unlimited user base was really key for us. We also mandated it. But the bright spot here was that many of our contractors were already using Procore or were at least familiar with it. I will say there was a smaller group that knew nothing of Procore, and for them, there was a little bit of hand-holding along the way, but ultimately, after a little bit of training, things really started to flow. Prior to Procore, much of our tracking was the old-fashioned method of creating Excel spreadsheets and manually doing data entry. There were many instances where a change was made, but no one was notified and it didn't make it into the field. And then here we are, tearing out some work that was just completed and reworking it because of a lack of notification. With Procore, we realized significant efficiencies right away. I knew at the end of each day and the beginning of the next what everyone needed to do to stay on track. I think probably one of our biggest challenges was getting the right individuals access to the platform. Once we got that established, we were able to collaborate back and forth. It seemed to go pretty smoothly as far as getting the information input in, getting a change event going. Then it was up to myself or the CM to collect those into a change order. With 28 prime contractors, I might have several different trades on the same change order, say a concrete guy, a plaster guy, a painter. As a public agency, I have to time my change orders just right for board meetings. For example, 2 weeks prior to the board meeting, I have to provide my change order with all of the backup information so that it gets posted to the board agenda. So if anybody's lagging and not submitting their stuff on time, it's an issue, but it also encourages them to get that information in quickly because they can't bill for anything until the board approves it.
So Robert, we've talked about standardization and better control of your data. We also talked about how a big part of that was having the ability to project future expenses and plan for those. Can you share how Procore made a difference there?
Of course. For us, part of budgeting wisely is staying on budget through the project. One of the biggest benefits to me was being able to get an auto-generated report every Friday morning. The view you're seeing here is where I was able to get insight into which contractors were requesting the most change orders and tracking of what percentage of their contract those changes amounted to. I then had the ability to access the costs, which of course are linked to the reports and the individual items within the tools. The report let me know every change event that was entered that had not yet been moved through the potential change order process. That gave me a gauge. I was able to use our instance of Power BI and reconcile my contingency as we moved through each week. In doing this, I was able to verify in real time my budget actuals. The first question every time I present a change order is, how much budget do you have? And so being able to accurately depict my budget and contingency was priceless for me, really. We all know time is of the essence, and maximizing our construction dollars help keep costs down. For example, it's a lot less expensive to have the plumbers or electricians do work while they're already on site rather than coming back, because that's when a $1,000 job becomes a $5,000 job. Knowing exactly what funds I had available allowed me to issue approvals faster. The reporting in Procore is a lot better than we were using before because all of my contractors are actually inputting their own data. Another huge advantage we saw was the ability to access Procore in the field. Once we got buy-in and people really started using it on their phones or tablets, they're able to see the drawings with the latest revisions right there. If there were any changes that had been executed, it was critical for us because we had over 1,800 RFIs on this project. Another thing we utilized was payments in Procore. One way to get prime contractors on board fast is to show them how easily it is to get paid submitting their pay applications in Procore. And this eliminated a lot of hassle on my end because I was able to avoid the when am I getting paid phone calls or emails. If they know they're getting paid on time, they're going to keep moving with the work, which means we're hitting milestones and staying on schedule.
Also, just to add to that, if you're looking for a way to route your invoices, you now have the ability to do that through our customizable workflow engine. If you need a director approval after a project manager approval, Procore can do the legwork of that routing. If you need something more nuanced based on cost thresholds, you can use our conditional routing to get the approvals you need without essentially having to babysit the process.
Thanks, Anna. When we put this in place, the goal was to have a better understanding of money spent and costs coming that would impact our budget. Project financials enabled us to see ahead and course correct before any major issues. For example, as the change events were being entered, I was able to generate that weekly report and know what's outstanding. This allowed me to have a handle on what costs were coming and where it would fall within my contingency budget. That was big for us. The collaboration of the workflow worked very well for us to be able to have a central place, get it out to everybody at once, let them input their data, and then we could analyze and approve or reject costs at that time. One of the other challenges we faced was we had multi-prime delivery. I had 28 prime contractors on that project. So getting information on changes consolidated and distributed into their hands quickly, where they could enter their feedback, what they thought their costs were going to be. The rough order of magnitude was huge in this process. I was able to then go in through and analyze what costs were ready for change order processing. Part of being in the public sector, especially with an educational facility, is being good stewards of funds. We need to ensure that when we're spending money, it's on the right things. In some cases, the architect may have missed something, or there may be a new product we're utilizing that was not included in the project. We need to be proactive and demand that that gets included, even if it's an additional cost to us. Procore has all that information centralized in one location, which allows the development of that cost. Procore helps us understand the changes, what the costs of the changes are, and provides documentation and proof of communication around all of those things. We had over 513 instances of change events on this project, and it was critical insight for us. Another huge advantage we've found is I can actually leverage the product to have better collaboration with stakeholders. I have the architect upload the drawings and specifications. I get the contractor to enter his own RFIs or submittals. That decreases my workload and allows me to focus on our standards and the quality control that I'm actually hired to do. This functionality we just didn't have with our other solution. Procore lets my team spend their time on high value activities. Procore certainly saved us time and money, especially in respect to things not installed incorrectly and then having to be redone. We were able to identify areas where work could be happening simultaneously, which allowed us to direct contractors as needed and maintain our pace. If we didn't have Procore, it would have been very difficult for us. We would have been using Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, and emailing out a lot of different things. We certainly wouldn't have finished early with Procore. We weren't just sitting around waiting for answers. It was all happening so quickly, we were able to utilize the workflow and email notifications and stay on track.
Thank you, Robert, for sharing your story. As a partner, we recognize that if your job is to build spaces that foster education, our job is to build products that help you do just that, and to work every day toward our vision of improving the lives of everyone in construction. So with that, let's take a look at some of the tools Robert utilized in action.
Today, we're going to walk through some of the key aspects of Procore solutions for financial management and analytics, focusing on what is most valuable to owners. We have limited time today, so I'm going to highlight some key solutions and insights, but I encourage you to reach out for a personalized demo experience tailored to fit your specific industry and business needs. The Procore platform offers a connected suite of solutions that can be used across a project lifecycle. Let's jump in and take a look. We'll start at the company portfolio page. There are multiple ways to look at your portfolio of projects, so you can choose a view and filters you like best. Procore aggregates all of your data automatically, so you and your internal stakeholders can easily monitor high-level status across your entire portfolio with our standard solutions. For a more powerful analytics experience, let's jump into our Owners package within Procore Analytics. These out-of-the-box reports and dashboards give you a great start to understand what's happening across your portfolio of projects. Here, we're looking at a portfolio status report. As with everything in Procore Analytics, you can easily slice and dice the data as needed. These dashboards are dynamic, so when I click on over budget, off schedule, for example, the view adjusts to highlight just those projects. But the value doesn't stop there. This product also includes AI capabilities that raise key insights and useful trends without hours of data science or analyst work. For example, Leverage the AI-powered vendor performance report to drill down and identify things like percent of contracts tied to change orders. Procore Analytics can also help you use historical data to make better future decisions. Reports such as budget benchmarking and advanced forecasting can help with estimating, cash flow projections, and several other key areas. Once you have access to all of your data, our analytics solution easily guides you to powerful insights, like our root cause analysis report. Now the data that was so meticulously tracked no longer lies dormant in a spreadsheet or an inbox. Rather, it's at your fingertips, moving your organization forward. All right, now let's dive into the project level data. Within each project is a hub where teams handle the day-to-day management of their project's financials. Once you've got your original budget in Procore, you can move forward with confidence that every update is tracked in the change history, creating a complete audit trail. This dynamic cost management solution stays updated automatically because it's connected to all of the source data. You can leverage our out-of-the-box templates or easily configure as many custom views as you need with your own calculations and column headers. This flexibility allows you to standardize templates that are easy for your team to adopt. Once you're ready to start bidding out any work, from initial studies and design agreements to bringing on a CM or contractors, Procore's bidding solution streamlines that process for you. You can even convert the winning bid directly to a contract when you're ready, but we'll have to dive into that another day. Let's pretend we've already awarded a few contracts. The commitments list page shown here provides an easy way to show the status of all contracts and purchase orders. Within each commitment is a contract management portal that gives you everything you need to house the associated details, documents, and communications. The statement of values can be aligned to your cost code structure in whatever way makes sense for you, so the committed, invoiced, and paid amounts are organized how you need them. Facilitate collaboration by providing other stakeholders access to certain parts of this portal as needed. This is easy to standardize and adjust with Procore's flexible permission controls. All relevant change order data is also organized here. Contractors can directly submit PCOs for review when ready, so you've always got an up-to-date exposure log. You decide when and how to wrap approved PCOs into a formal change order that amends a contract and can be included in future invoices. Speaking of invoices, our invoice management solution provides you and your vendors, like your architects and contractors, an easy way to digitize the invoice submission, review, and approval process. Vendors directly submit invoices tied to their commitments that you can then review line by line. If you find something you don't agree with, easily reject it and kick it back for adjustments. With Procore, you can minimize the administrative burden of invoicing while continuing to be good stewards of your project funds. Jumping back to the budget, we can see that all pending and approved values are automatically updated without manual data entry. These items can also be synced with your ERP if desired through API-powered integrations, because while an ERP can tell you what's been spent, Procore can keep you in control of where you're going. When it's time to update forecasts, simple forecasting can be done directly in the budget view and detailed cash forecasting in the advanced forecasting solution shown here. This gives you an easy way to leverage all the data we just reviewed to produce updated cash flow forecasts with the help of some cool functions such as different spreading curves. Use this for your investors, corporate finance, and capital planning teams, or anyone else that needs it. That's all the time we have today, but I encourage you to learn more by requesting your own personalized demo today.
As the owner, you are responsible for delivering a successful project. With Procore, you can control what's ahead and keep your teams focused on higher value activities that aren't chasing down answers or compiling outdated reports. We intentionally build our solutions to be connected, collaborative, and easy to use so that you can achieve that holy grail you're looking for in terms of real-time visibility of a complete and accurate financial picture at any time in the most efficient way possible. I want to again thank Robert from Kern High School District for being with us today. They delivered just incredible value to the district, the students, and their community. And I want to thank you all for attending today. Thank you for your time and for everything you do to make our communities thrive. Thank you.